I forgot I watched this. When you were talking about emotions, it made me think of this real asshole that I watched his movie about. Godzilla Minus One. I mean, what an effing jerk. So, 2-second recap. It picks up basically at the end of the Second World War in Japan, and there is a deserter kamikaze flight pilot who, from really PTSD, like he can't do it, right? Mm-hmm. But it's really like the last day of the war. So, it's like, what the hell? I don't want to do it. So he basically goes into what would be a repair station on an island, and they kind of figure out nothing's wrong with your plane. What are you doing here? And while they're all contemplating, this deserter that comes out of the freaking forest and just stops everybody. Maybe he's pissed about the war. I don't even know. And he's not that big. But the only two survivors is the kamikaze flight pilot and the head, basically, I want to say, flight engineer repair guy who knows he's a deserter. So now you go back to Japan that has been decimated by World War II. And he's got to recreate his life, this deserter plagued by guilt. And he finds a woman who has found a baby, and they kind of make a faux house family together, but they're not together because it's unrequited feelings and love, and he doesn't deserve love because of how he abandoned his troops and all these. My. And of course, there's nothing basically left here, but here comes this asshole Godzilla again. And he got to damage this whole town and take down everybody. It almost looks like the old school, stop motion. Yeah. So it's one big foot squashing the little village. It's barely.
Does he have a magnet on him that's drawing Godzilla to him? What is happening?
I don't know why they don't really get into it. This is almost pre-Godzilla, in the sense of there's nothing to combat him. They don't even know how they're going to take him down. He regenerates. It's all this stuff.
What a nightmare.
No, he thought he was. It's a King Kong situation where he's like, "Are these flies? Get out of here, flies!"
Kind of, but
so it's
stay
a Mothra
on the ocean
situation.
or
He's
stay on
I saw that Mothra guy. I'm going to go get him.
But stay on the ocean. Stay on your own island. Why are you bothering people? They're not bothering you. And, really it's an overall story of this kamikaze's internal guilt that is eating him alive, that he has to revenge the men that he feels he abandoned, and how
Revenge or avenge?
Avenge. Mm-hmm. He has to avenge the men he abandoned. And he's basically going to solo, which then you also learn you have to rely on people to be able to take down Godzilla. It was a budget. This is what you tell the big studios. It was a budget of total under something with marketing, with everything, under $30 million or something. And it's voiceovered as well. So you're watching as an American, and it's it feels a little oh, okay.
What did they win an Academy Award for?
Special effects.
It was reviewed very well. People did like it a lot.
You did let me finish. It's fantastic.
Oh. Just that Godzilla is a jerk.
That's such a jerk. You're what? Stay away from this village that's already destroyed. But it's the whole hero arc that has to happen for your lead character to basically believe in himself and love again.
Oh.
And we watched as a family and totally enjoyed it. So it may end up making $100 million plus or something like that. So on such a teeny budget, real, not CGI special effects, so well done, old school, but you just because there's been a pivot recently in more modern Godzillas that we are to learn his inside out of him. Maybe he's tortured. Maybe he's been misunderstood. Mm-hmm. I'm
Well, you have to remember there's the American Godzilla series where he's protecting us from this other realm, apparently.
Right.
Versus the Japanese Godzilla movies, which I don't know.
They should hate him because seriously.
Just stomping on things for no good reason.
And there's one thing, I'll just end on this. There's this one where it's the signal that he's coming are these fish that float to the surface. Now, at first, you won't see it now, but I have to say it. It looks like a bunch of floating penises. You are like, what is happening? And we could not figure it out. And then Mark goes, oh, this was what happened because my husband likes to fish. Their bladders, because they were raised too quickly because Godzilla's swimming by and his methane or whatever is making the fish go, what? And they pop their bladder out of their mouth and sink to the surface. It was what? Who did the research on that and decide that's what it's going to look like down there? So it is just, I mean, it's a fun ride, and I'm only paralleling him being like all anger, Lewis Black. Like he just needs he needs to get in check with his other emotions. So that is Godzilla -1, available on Netflix. Very fun.
So Godzilla probably needs some therapy. Is really what it is.
No, it might be just that all his emotions all have that fire head.
Oh,
Yes.
Or what we are missing from all these Godzilla movies is when we're watching the humans, he's off someplace kicking and just so sad. Why did I make a mess of that town? Ugh.
Regret.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe.
I have other feelings, people.
He is just
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very well done. Even when he does this big like chunk, 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 and here comes the big laser out of his mouth, and it's gonna break everything, make atomic bombs everywhere. It is just like he's just insane, and he somehow gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So more diabolical.